Are we filming? Yes, we are. So welcome to another video. This isn't a review. It's just a chat about paper-based productivity and one specific aspect of paper-based productivity, which I want to mull over in my mind. As you know, I like to try lots of different binders and notebooks, lots of different strategies and systems. It's something that I really enjoy doing. It's a bit of a hobby, if you like. It's a hobby that I've had from childhood, I guess. I was always into notebooks and making lists even as a primary school child. So I guess it's in my blood, and I show you different systems in inverted commas that I try from time to time. I chop and change. I like to chop and change, just for the devil of it, I suppose. But I want to talk to you about cost and how it doesn't have to be an expensive thing, in inverted commas. I'm a big fan of ring binders, as you know, and they can cost a lot of money. This cost me a whopping, because of import fees, import taxes, and shipping, and the profit margin that the reseller in Japan has to make. And I'm okay with that. Everybody's got to make a margin here, but this ultimately cost me, when it arrived on my doorstep, just over £200, which is ridiculous, but I love it. But there is the other end of the scale. And this week I've been just trying it. I'm not saying that this is something I would do all the time, because I have all these lovely binders that I can use. And when you do have nice binders, then it imbues a certain je ne sais quoi. It feels good. It's like using a Mont Blanc pen instead of a Bic biro. It has a certain feel good factor, or a nice watch, or a decent pair of shoes. You can pay £3,000 in London for a decent pair of shoes from a well-known shoemaker. But by the same token, you can buy a brand new pair of shoes that go on the same feet for less than £10 in a cheap discount store, brand new. Incredible. So I mean, here we are in the 21st century with a huge choice, a huge range of choices available to us, and that also applies to paper-based productivity. So let me show you this to emphasize my point. So this is, can you see, it's a massive notebook, A6. It's genuinely A6, and it says A6 Jumbo Spiral Notebook. Well, I would say that is all accurate, because it is A6. It is a jumbo notebook. It says 500 pages. Now, 500 pages means 250 sheets, and I can well believe it. Not sure what the GSM is. It erroneously says here 300 GSM. Well, that's obviously wrong. It says something lost in the translation here. But this is made in the Far East, I'm sure. Does it say, it says so-and-so Imports Limited, so it's obviously imported from somewhere. Presumably somewhere where labour rates are very, very cheap. But what have we got here, and why am I illustrating this? Because it is just a ubiquitous notebook. Well, I picked it up because I was just curious. I thought I would use one of these for a week. For this, I'm recording this on a Saturday afternoon, and I've been using this to write notes. Sometimes I've been in the house, sometimes I've been out. I even wrote a couple of notes while I was riding along on the bus. And I took it in the car. I just had it in my jacket pocket, and I decided I did have my mini-sized plotter. My Plotter Mini 5, which is where I'm currently using, where my diary resides at the moment. So this was just for note taking. And what I found, and I know this is a little bit wasteful, but what I decided to do was I would write a note. I think I've used about 20 sheets. I would write a note, and then once I was at home, and that note had been, that action or note or information had been processed, if you like, I ripped it out of this spiral mechanism, and then put it in the appropriate yellow folder in my filing cabinet. And as you know, I'm a big fan of having a filing cabinet. But this is the thing. This cost me just over £200, and all it is a piece of leather and some rings. But I purchased this for £1, so maybe $1.20, something like that, the equivalent of. And this was in my local pound store, same as a dollar store in the US. So that's a heck of a lot of paper for £1. And it had occurred to me that if you're on a budget and you just want to have a notebook, this is perfect, especially since the bigger rings. If you get one of these jumbo size spiral notebooks, there's enough room in here for 2 pens. Here we are, 2 of my favourite pens. They're both Pilot G2s. They're the broad nib variety, the broad point, 1mm rather than 0.7. So this is my weapon of choice, the blue one. And so this is such a compact system. And anyway, the notebook only costs £1. I'm sure that this sort of notebook is available all over the world very cheaply. And of course, being A6, potentially you could use a hole punch and punch all the holes if you like, so that you could pre-punch the holes, take this with you, and then you could then, once you have finished that note and you get home, you can put it into your ring binder. This is absolutely A6. This is an A4 sheet folded into quarters like this. I've shown that you could put this in a 6-ring pocket-sized notebook. It sticks out a little bit, or in this case, you could punch it with personal size rings and fit it the other way. And it's kind of, if I pull it all the way out, so it's right on the limit of the rings, it's perfectly all right. So you could use that. A lot of people say, can you show me an A6 binder? Well, a personal size filofax would accommodate A6 sheet, and this would enable you to have either top or bottom tabs, if you like, that sort of thing. So you could use this either as a spiral bound notebook in your pocket or your bag when you go out, or you can just use this paper and tear them off as required and use them to fit in your personal size binder. So a very useful size, but I just think that's a fabulous price. 250 sheets of paper, 200, and just reflect on that, absorb that. 250 sheets of paper for £1. I think that's a bargain. And if any of you are out there who are thinking about paper-based productivity, and you're not sure what to do about it, don't bother getting a filofax or a plotter or something similar yet. Just try a notebook. Just try a notebook. And also the other thing, which is something that's not to be overlooked, is security. No one's going to nick a notebook. No one's going to rob you of a notebook if you're in a cafe and it's you're using it on your table while you're drinking your coffee. If this was in a London cafe or a bar or a pub, I would be a little bit more circumspect about using this, because it obviously looks incredibly expensive, and it is. So this could be, for some people, perhaps many, not only either a good introduction to paper-based productivity, and also a cheap way of getting into this whole paper-based productivity thing, but also it aids creativity. And I'll explain why. Because when you are, I don't have any filofax paper with me right this second, but as we know, filofax paper, if you buy it from Filofax, typically plain note paper, lined or blank, is about, as I record this in 2024, November 2024, it's about 8p a sheet. Now, if you're just doodling or writing one note on it, on each sheet, you could quickly, let's just think about this. So 8p times maybe 10 sheets a day, so that's 80p times 365 days a year. You're talking about over £300 doodling and writing notes. £300. But I don't know. So this would obviously be, I haven't got my calculator, I'm not going to bother doing the maths, but this is obviously an absolute fraction. So each one of these sheets of paper is 1/250th of a penny. So, obviously the difference is enormous. The difference in cost is enormous. So if you're right on the cusp of experimentation with paper-based productivity, I think this is my recommendation. Just get a notebook. Doesn't have to be a jumbo notebook, just any old notebook from a pound store or a dollar store, and just get a pen, hook it on the spiral, and just go out there and create your best work. Thanks very much for watching. Until my next video, goodbye.